Dumelang Sanbonani, and welcome to the Midday Express right here on Galaxy Universal Network, Channel 500 on Starset. Nagalibizol ke RORISANG wana haTSHWANE, barke se tlogula sa haTSHWANE. Now I'm never alone, of course. I am with the voice himself. I'm not even going to try, because I always try to go deep, but no, only you can do it, Harmony.
Hi everybody, welcome right here to Midday Express with myself, Harmony MBHELE. Upele khulu nontando dlambulo ulanga lokulungombi Tombikazo Sompisi o ndabezitha ebukhosini nje kanjalo. This is where we give you all the leading stories and headlines and all that is happening within your entertainment and sporting field. So we are going to be doing absolutely beautiful things today. Interact with us across every social media platforms on Twitter and Instagram. It is gun_TV, and on Facebook, Galaxy Universal Network. And if you do, right here in South Africa, but I know Africa at large is watching us at this point on Channel 500 on Starset, because we are the stars of the universe.
I mean, of course.
We always serve the people what they want.
And I really think today I would really love people to be engaged on our social media platforms.
Absolutely.
I really would like to hear what people are saying. We know with clicks, EFF demanding click stores to be closed, I really want to hear what people's takes are, are on it, because you have people who are actually standing saying, but people are losing jobs at the same time, you know. But that's a story we're going to get later into. But looking at today's headlines now, now a 51-year-old medical doctor has been arrested for defrauding SASSA. And then we also have the South African Police Service calling on the public to assist with rearrest of 3 prisoners who escaped. And then also we have EFF demanding click stores to close. Also in our stories, like we said, we'd actually want people to interact on all our social media platforms to engage on this matter. I really think it's just one of those controversial topics that we're looking into. Now, just moving into the first story of the day. Now, a 51-year-old medical doctor has been arrested by the Hawks Durban Serious Corruption Investigation Unit on Friday, as he is alleged to have been involved in processing fraudulent disability grants in the KZN province. And the Hawks KwaZulu-Natal spokesperson, Captain Simphiwe Mhlongo, said that the doctor was allegedly involved in the defrauding of SASSA between 2005 and 2008. And it is alleged that he was responsible for the processing of fraudulent disability grants and Gwalezani SASSA offices. Now, the doctor has been on the run for 2 years after another doctor who was also involved in the fraudulent activities was arrested back in 2018, together with 6 people who were accused of conspiring to defraud SASSA of 25 million rand. Now, Mhlongo said that of the suspects arrested in 2018, 6 were then charged with the murder of SASSA Deputy Director Uteminkosi Dlamini, who was appointed to investigate the case, who was shot dead in his office only 6 days after he started the internal investigation in June 2008. Now, Dlamini's death led to a parallel investigation by the Hawks Serious Corruption Investigation Task Team, and the KZN accused doctor is expected to appear in the Durban Specialized Commercial Crimes Court today. Now we see
corruption is at its highest, not only with politicians, but even with people that are in who rely on to save our lives, making sure that when we go to hospitals, these are the people that we look at and say, please, man, save my life. But here they are caught in another corruption scandal.
Unfortunately, but I really think big ups to the SAPS department now to have actually arrested them. We know, like they said with that case in 2008 rather, when they arrested now the other doctor that was involved and then the other 6. And imagine now losing life of actually trying to do something right. Now see Uteminkosi actually lost his life actually by investigating such a matter. So it's quite sad to actually see such things happening.
And even seeing the Hawks come in and playing such a big part, and knowing that we can still find justice if there's been wrongdoing, and knowing that there's so many beneficiaries with the SASSA grants, with what's happening right now within our country, our economy for the past 5-10 years. It's really been a hard one, knowing that there are so many families that depend on receiving that monthly SASSA grant money that they receive from the government. So kudos to the police investigative officers that have been involved with this investigation and making sure that they get to the bottom of it. So
True. And now moving on into the second story. Now we actually have 3 inmates who have escaped from the Luko prison in Johannesburg, and the police have called out to the public now to come forth with any information that could lead to their rearrest. Now, the 3 men escaped on Friday in the early hours and have been convicted of various crimes, including robbery and possession of firearms. And now Correctional Services Department Singabakho Nxumalo said an investigation investigation was underway, although it's still not clear how the inmates actually escaped. And Nxumalo said that a manhunt has been launched for the escapees, but has warned members of the public not to try to take matters into their own hands, as they believe that these people are actually dangerous. So we actually see now there's a manhunt of people, three men who have escaped.
How do they escape?
Like they just said, like the maximum security facility.
That's like the mind-boggling thing, where we have to sit down and find reasons or methods on how maximum security, three men, not one. Three men planned an escape, and they succeeded with it. So our prisons are really prison. Can they actually hold people behind bars? That's another question that we have to look into and be like, are they really in there to serve their time and so that they are rehabilitated, so that they come into our communities? If they're coming back and their trials are still pending, their sentences are still continuing, yet here they are at large within the same community where we expected them to be behind bars, it's a hard one.
It's really a hard one, because you understand now these people are actually now in the public. They are in the midst of the people, and like they say, they could be dangerous. So it's also having to be on the lookout to actually be safe as well in the community as well. So it's quite something unfortunate to actually see, but it happens.
But I think we should take like a quick commercial ad break.
Yes, and then we'll be back with more stories right here on the Midday Express. Stay tuned.
Experience the extraordinary.
Feeling is there that you're doing something special.
Have you lost it? Move!
Stop being so dramatic, Mira.
Challenge your ordinary.
Why don't you start a dance class?
Experience the extraordinary with StarSat. Challenge your ordinary. Experience the extraordinary.
Not only the government, the municipality here has had no plan.
Now, I believe that my peace is my most valuable asset.
Absolutely beautiful! This is exactly what I was looking for! DJ Khaled!
It is a day to celebrate.
We're ready for action.
I like it when it's nice and soft. Yeah, that is nice.
How was it like growing up in Nigeria? Yes, sir, you know what it is.
Feeling is there that you're doing something special.
Stop being so dramatic, Mira.
You should just be what you want to be.
Experience the extraordinary with StarSat.
And welcome back from the ad break, and you are still watching Midday Express, where we give you all the leading headlines at this hour during the midday. And as we continue with the stories, Democratic Alliance Shadow Minister of Health, Siviwe Gwabula, had some of news to share about the DA Youth League program, which is looking for highly motivated individuals between the ages of 18 and 35, interested in pursuing a career in politics or public service. So take a look at this.
Hello everybody, my name is Siviwe Gwabula. I want to encourage you to think about whether or not you want to play a leadership role in our country today, be it in the political space, be it in public service, or be it in any other field that you can think of. If you do, consider applying for the DA Young Leaders Program. This is a year-long political program which is designed to groom young leaders by putting them in touch with tutors, by putting them in touch with mentors, by instilling some skills that you will definitely need in a leadership journey wherever you go. I was once part of this program, and I'm now still part of an alumni, a group of people who still to this day provide me with valuable lessons along my leadership journey And so I want to encourage you, apply before the closing date on the 14th of September. You have absolutely nothing to lose, but everything to gain.
Beautiful opportunities that we're actually seeing these political parties actually coming out. Remember, even now with the National Treasury actually gave out opportunities last week. I think we spoke about that.
Oh yes, the young people that are supposed to join in their bursaries for last year students.
With the internship programs, yes. So now having to see the DA also offering opportunities like this actually just sees that, you know, at least it won't be bleak for all the youth out there. I mean, we know how frustrating it is, especially after graduating and
looking for a job
and not actually having any opportunities that are afforded to you. And I think looking as well is so frustrating. So to have these are political parties to actually go out and say, here are opportunities. I think it's really a good thing, especially during this COVID-19 time, like I always say.
Absolutely. More especially looking into politics and public service. So if you have a degree or you are working towards getting that degree and you are studying politics or in public service, so do the right thing and get in touch with the DA. So find them across every social media platforms and interact with them and see what you can do. But still looking at your other stories, the Economic Freedom Fighters leader Julius Malema has joined in echo voices calling for South African leading health, beauty and lifestyle retailer with 700 plus stores nationwide Clicks to terminate the contract of the company that commissioned the controversial advert banned as racist. And it has this advert, which has an image of black hair labeled as dry and damaged, frizzy and dull hair, labels white hair rather as normal and as fine and as flat. As on Friday, the EFF had written to a letter to Clicks, Group Limited, demanding that the company publicly list the names of the directors and employees that were involved in making sure that this advert goes out to the people. And also looking at the many things that the EFF had tried to get into a conversation with the people from Clicks, wrote them a letter, and they had actually said that they were dismissed with immediate effect if ever found that these people are employees working for Clicks or private contractors, and saying that it is a hard one. And the CIC Julius Malema took it to Clicks Mall of the North to demonstrate against Clicks, with the national chairperson Victoria Mente is at Goodwood Shopping Centre in Cape Town. The Deputy Secretary General Popi Mulao is at Highwood Hall in Mhlangeni. So that's another one.
But I think we actually have a lot of visuals actually just to just show our viewers at home what is actually transpiring there at the Clicks stores. Let's just have a look.
And we say no jobs, no, they are going to kill us like they killed that American George Floyd, because that's how they operate. White people, majority of white people, my brother, I don't know about you don't like us. Every time when you are in the private space, you speak bad about us, you insult us. We are forcing ourselves to you, and you are a minority, you are a majority. The economy is in your hands, we have nothing. Unemployment rate is black people. This Clicks doesn't have any management of black people. The board of Clicks is white made. The company that do advert for Clicks is African company. When are we going to be part of this? Always you are consumers. Always you must come and give you money. When are you going to bring back to us? You can speak. I'm not scared of you. Are going to get good pay. We are the ones who close Clicks, not the workers.
We are closing just the doors.
Harmony, let's just talk about this matter.
Yeah.
Like the clicks matter is, yeah.
It's a big one. It's a big one because it does not just involve the directors, the CEOs, the board members of Clicks. It involves employees that have families to feed, that depending on the salary, they get a Clicks. And if stores are burning down, if they have stores being petrol bombed, therefore, where are these employees going to get their jobs? How are they going to get their salaries? So I think it's a bigger one than just the ad.
Yeah.
And also looking at the ad, then what do we say as the consumers of products that are being sold at Clicks? Then what are they saying about you?
Okay, but another thing, right? We understand the course of action of now boycotting against Clicks. We understand that it's been something that Black people unfortunately have been fighting against, to be recognized as our hair is pretty enough, you know, our skin color is pretty enough. So unfortunately, it's always been that fight, that battle. We fight against racism, unfortunately, until today, and still that thing we're faced with. So we understand, you know, the cry to for the racial justice. But then again, we forget that, especially now, during these times, people have not been working for the longest of time, and now to have stores being closed down.
And I was about to ask, therefore, what is the right manner of which you should do this thing in? So I think as a young person that is looking at this story and saying that my mom could be working at Clicks, you know, my dad could be working at Clicks, my sister, my brother. Therefore, how does that affect our entire income within the household? And it becomes very hard knowing that so many parents in the township all travel to like Joburg, to Sandton, to Midrand, to all these other close by places for just that job. And today they're not clocking in to say that I've been present for my 12 hours. What's going to happen tomorrow? So many questions, yet we are not saying that that ad was right.
Exactly.
In no way we are saying we are saying that the ad was right, how it was put out, and knowing that there were so many marketing consultants that it went past. Did no one notice it?
It's quite sad because we also experienced this with H&M, remember, with that whole racial thing. But then another thing, I just want to know, isn't there a better way to have our voices heard instead of boycotting and actually having to burn down stores? Because at the end of the day, it still has to be now that whole readjustment of actually getting back on their feet with people, employees as well. So I really feel like I don't know if there should be a better way to voice our opinions instead of boycotting, because at the end of the day, people get injured in these things. And
I think there should be better ways. There should be better ways. Yet the greatest question is, was this a publicity stunt to get more people back in? Was this a publicity stunt to get Clicks back on the market? Was it a publicity stunt to do so many other things?
Then it must, so a stunt that went wrong.
A stunt that went wrong.
Because now, look at the effect it has caused, unfortunately, as seen. And it's wide across the country right now. We don't even know how long it's going to take. So I really guess we want to see how it all unfolds, but I'd really love to hear what everybody has to actually say on this.
Absolutely.
Go on our social media platforms, Galaxy Universal Network, at Ghana_TV. Really like to know what your thoughts are on this Clicks matter. It could be right, it could be wrong, but I mean, we're all entitled to our own opinions at the end of the day.
Absolutely, man. Tag us too. Don't forget to tag us so that we can, if there's any groundbreaking news story, so that we can give it to you at the minute it is happening. But already taking a look at our next news bulletin.
Yes, moving into our African stories. Now, the Spanish Minister Arantxa González Laya welcomed the establishment of a new government in Tunisia and wished it political stability. Now, Laya is visiting Tunisia for the first time as head of Spanish diplomacy, Spain's Minister of Foreign Affairs, European Union and Cooperation. Now, the minister, who is on a 2-day visit, stressed on the necessity for Tunisia's new government to create opportunities for the youth and open legal ways of immigration for those wanting opportunities abroad. Now, both countries had agreed on the necessity of investment in Libya and other Mediterranean countries that need support to develop and to improve their situations to bring peace and stability in the region. So we actually get to see, it's actually good when we see countries actually coming and merging together for the greater good of the country's well-beings.
Yeah, and I think it's a beautiful one because it's not just one country saying it's for us alone, but it's saying that together we shall win this, we shall conquer. And I think it's not even an African thing. Like we say, Ubuntu, there's togetherness, but we can all practice it differently and not just stand alone as a country or as a continent. That's actually a beautiful one.
Yeah, so that's just at least for the African story. Now, just moving on into the international one, I think a very touching one as well. We just spoke about the Clicks one and about racial justice, and then now also we've seen in the US people who have actually took it to the streets.
Yeah.
We know the whole Black Lives Matter protests have taken a month now to say since the Floyd's death actually happened, and actually now we actually saw another one happening recently. Just to go over that story now, the black man now who was shot in the back by a white police officer in Wisconsin, Jacob Blake, spoke out for the first time from his hospital bed, and the U.S. citizens are still in fight for the racial justice. Now, in a video posted on Twitter by his attorney on Saturday, Blake described being in constant pain after the shooting that left him paralyzed from the waist down. Now, the shooting of the 29-year-old Blake, which took place on the 23rd of August, reignited protests over racism and police brutality in the U.S. after George Floyd, who is another black man we know, actually unfortunately died in the hands of a white policeman when he put his knee on his neck. So it's really quite unfortunate. But we have a video right there of Blake actually just speaking on the matter. Let's just have a look.
Yeah, I just want to say, man, to all the young cats out there and even the older ones, older than me, it's a lot more life to live out here, man. Your life, and not only just your life, your legs, something that you need to move around and move forward in life, can be taken from you like this, man. And I promise you, the type of shit that you will go through, staples, I got staples in my back, staples in my damn stomach. You do not want to have to deal with this shit, man. 24 hours, every 24 hours, it's pain, it's nothing but pain. It hurts to breathe, it hurts to sleep. It hurts to move from side to side. It hurts to eat. Please, I'm telling you, change our lives out there. We can stick together, make some money, make everything easier for our people out here, man, because there's so much time that has been wasted.
I guess it's quite sad to be 29 years of age and now paralyzed. He probably had a whole life ahead of him, and to have had this happen to him, it's quite sad. And like he spoke, like, life changes in an instant, just like that. You don't know what might happen. And
it's not that you were even in the wrong. It's not that you were at the wrong place at the wrong time. You were just a mere citizen living, exercising your free rights that you have. You are walking down the street, you're being pulled over by police officers, and therefore that's why I even had to exhale very much, because I feel like something is sitting on my chest as I'm reading the story, knowing that either of us could be in the United States and be pursuing the dream, could be the next victim, where the police that side, the president, Donald Trump, what are the measures that are going to be put in place so that officers and policemen know their right on how to detain young black African Americans and the Puerto Ricans that side, so that it's not just a race thing, who gets better privilege than the other one, so that everyone within a beautiful American, because we all admire America, we all see it as a global leading country, but when it's only for the few and not for everyone, then it really hits home.
It's quite sad. And just adding on to that, now as the protests continue in Rochester, New York, the police have used tear gas to disperse about 2,000 protesters in the fourth night of the unrest over the death of Daniel Prudna, who is a black man who died after an encounter with the police in March. Now, and the Rochester mayor, Lovely Warren, said that the city will use church leaders who will serve as a buffer between protesters arranged by the Daniel Prudna's death and the police. So we actually see now even people going out, the mayor going out, crying out for help to the church leaders, because sometimes we just need someone who's going to intervene. It's really a lot. It's really a lot.
We all believe in the higher power.
Exactly.
We all believe in the higher power, saying that intervene. Take over. Because we've had enough.
It's been a lot.
It's a lot for the people living in a daily in America, not knowing what's going to happen next. Who is the next lifeless black body that's going to lie on the ground? Will they be wrong? Will they be, So there are all these things, and knowing that they're asking for pastors to take up space and saying that, help us, let's find a way to move together forward. True. So that's another one that we should look at.
Yeah, but let's just go for a quick break right here on the Midday Express. And when we come back for our tourism and heritage feature, we have got a special interview with CZA. Don't you go anywhere, stay tuned.
Experience the extraordinary.
Feeling is there that you're doing something special.
Have you lost it? Move! Stop being so dramatic, Mira.
Challenge your ordinary.
Why don't you start a dance class?
Experience the extraordinary with StarSat. Challenge your ordinary. Experience the extraordinary.
Not only the government, the municipality here has had no plan.
Now, I believe that my peace is my most valuable asset.
Absolutely beautiful! This is exactly what I was looking for! DJ Khaled!
It is a day to celebrate.
We're ready for action.
I like it when it's nice and soft. Yeah, that is nice.
How was it like growing up in Nigeria? Yes, sir, you know what it is.
Feeling is there that you're doing something special.
Stop being so dramatic, Mira.
You should just be what you want to be.
Experience the extraordinary with StarSat.
Hello. Being a legal practitioner in South Africa in these challenging times demands lawyers that will help clients beyond legal issues. The ever-changing demands in commerce and tourism require lawyers who have sound and clear business and commercial knowledge, and that's where MBHELE Incorporated comes in. Our business, mining, tourism, health, labor, and economic knowledge encapsulated with law and litigation experience gives us an advantage in the legal sphere. Our experience in assisting businesses, government, and various industries with their needs puts us amongst the many progressive and striving law firms in South Africa. Now, to contact our attorneys for assistance with any of the mentioned fields and others, please call us on 012-341-4187 or send us an email on admin@chabangu.co.za. MBHELE Incorporated, where problems meet solutions.
Tech Talk brought to you by Tamani Technologies and Systems. Tamani Technologies and Systems takes leadership in fourth industrial revolution. The whole world is facing a transformation. The revolution will be developed into the following stages: digitization, cyber security, Internet of Things, managed services, document management, and business applications. We provide business transformation and ICT solutions with presence in 13 African countries and 2 European countries. We are your leading partner in integrated platform providers, innovation leaders, standalone products, and innovation pace setters. Tamani Technologies and Systems, delivering value across continents.
Welcome back from the ad break, and you are still watching a Midday Express right here on Galaxy Universal Network and on StarSat. It is channel 500, and I do hope that you guys are engaging with us across every social media platforms, because it is necessary that we all get to hear what you have to say and your thoughts about the different headlines that we have for you today in studio. And today is well, at this hour rather, it's our favorite thing here. What's it? The feature that we have every single time on the show. And today we get to be joined by Septi Bukula, the director of CZA, and he's joining us right on Zoom. Sawubona baba.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, guys. It's good to be here.
Thank you. Thank you very much for honoring the invite and being able to join us.
Yeah, it's good to be with you.
So, Septi, can you just tell us a little bit more about yourself and then your journey of now starting CZA?
Well, thank you for the opportunity. Yes, I have actually been involved in small business development, focusing on research and policy for about 25 years. So it's been quite a long time. And in 2017, we embarked on our journey to create CZA Tourism SME Network. CZA stands for C South Africa because it's related to tourism.
Yes.
And the reason we started CZA was to, get SMEs to work together better to improve their international competitiveness. So yes, CZA was established in 2017. So we're still a young baby, but we're excited about our journey so far.
Yes. And Baba, we are celebrating Tourism Month in the month of September, knowing that it is combined with tourism, with Heritage Month. What are the beautiful places that you'd say that South Africans could possibly visit?
Well, you see, that's actually quite an important and interesting question because South Africa as a whole is such a beautiful country with so much diversity.
Yes.
In terms of its tourism product offering. Whether you're looking at it from the point of view of heritage, as you say, this being Heritage Month, or just the diversity, history, culture, natural beauty, sea, sand, all that, South Africa offers. But maybe I must hasten to say that I think that, one of the things that we perhaps haven't done so well so far and need to focus on, and maybe we can explore this further during this interview, is that, our offering tends to be concentrated in certain geographic nodes. And so I don't think we've actually done a good enough job in terms of opening up access to the entire country.
Okay.
Some incredible gems in outlying areas and small towns and rural areas that are still hugely underserviced. And one of the things that we as CZA Tourism SME Network are focused on is how we can partner with SMEs across the country, especially in those smaller communities, to open up those products, those destinations, and get tourists visiting those destinations. So, yeah, an incredible offering as a country, but some work to do still.
And I know, unfortunately, we know that COVID-19 has hit the tourism industry bad. Just tell us how it has affected your company, and then what measures do you have in place now to actually kick back the tourism sector?
Well, speaking, just on behalf of the SMEs that's in our network, the impact has been quite significant. Some have had to, pause their operations. Others are just hanging in there. Others have decided, to, as I say, to close down and maybe restart in the new year. So the impact has been widespread. It's been negative, and the responses from SMEs, depending on their financial situations, have been different. However, I need to hasten to say that, we are very quick to blame COVID-19 and say, all these wars have come because of COVID-19. No, some of them not. We know that we've been in a very poorly performing economy long before COVID-19.
Absolutely.
And that obviously has had a tremendously negative impact on SMEs across the board, not just tourism SMEs, on SMEs across the board. And so one of the key tasks that we're facing is, if we want to drive, SME performance, one of the key tasks we're facing is to, move this economy as a whole to here, right? Of course, the fact that we're at such a badly performing economy means that a number of SMEs, and certainly in tourism, because tourism is that sector of the economy that shut down completely.
Yes.
It's found a lot of tourism SMEs in a very weak position financially, but it's a historical situation. And so going forward, we want to accelerate the rate at which we do our best to work with SMEs to really move them to a higher plane in terms of their financial stability. Because what we have seen, what COVID-19 has revealed, is not very good.
Absolutely. I hear you. I hear you very, very loud and clear. But I'd like to know the sentiments when when I think the entire tourism industry realized that the likes of our nature reserves were going to open, and how was the feeling for the small SMEs knowing that their places were not yet to be celebrated in the magnitude of our nature reserves that have opened and the grand casinos?
Oh, well, I mean, look, the fact that domestic tourism is now open is a cause for celebration. I mean, there's no question about that.
Absolutely.
I mean, when the entire industry, when you couldn't travel even inside your province from one city to the next, let alone traveling around the country, it obviously made life very difficult for SMEs. So the fact that things are open now, some SMEs are beginning to get a breather, because people are traveling. But of course, how many people can afford to travel?
Yes.
So many people have lost jobs, have lost incomes, and that kind of stuff. So domestic travel and tourism is a starting point, but we will really feel the full effect once we are open entirely. So for instance, regional travelers can come into the country and international travelers can come into the country. Because talking about, for instance, those nature reserves that you're mentioning, the people who tend to patronize those are actually international travelers.
Yes.
And if they are not here, the effect is going to be muted. It's not to say, there's nothing to celebrate. We are celebrating, the little steps that the country is making.
Yes.
But the effect is going to be muted for quite some time until there's total opening. Of travel, both domestic is open now, but certainly international.
I just want to speak on the fact that most of the time, right, we think that traveling is expensive, and you have a lot of people who have always wanted to go travel, but then they don't have the means. So is there anything maybe in the pipeline where it could be accessible, traveling could be accessible to almost everyone?
Well, you're actually touching on a crucial point there, and that is the point that we make all the time, that the challenge with South African tourism is that it's heavily outward looking.
Yes.
In other words, the products and certainly the price points are really aimed at the wealthy international market, not even at the regional market, and let alone the domestic market. And I think that's a structural challenge that we're actually facing, and we need to address. Because if we are going to drive domestic tourism, we need to make sure that we have products, that speak to the domestic market, both in terms of appeal, especially in terms of price appeal. And so I think though, what I am seeing coming through is that conversation is beginning to surface. These questions are beginning to be raised to say, if you're going to price for a local, the same as you price for someone coming with dollars and pounds and euro and yen, there's something wrong there, So I think that is something that the industry, and only the industry, can remedy that. And we, as the network, as a tourism SME network, are having a conversation with SMEs which says, hey, guys, there's an opportunity there. If you come up with the right packages and at the right price point, you as SMEs can actually lead the domestic recovery, Unfortunately, a lot of our SMEs also price themselves similarly to the big players who are pricing for, the offshore market.
Yes.
And I think that to have a conversation on, and in fact, we've started that conversation to say, surely there is something that you can do to position your offerings, your products, in such a way that they have mass appeal domestically, right?
Yes.
So you make your money from volume, from the volume of visitors, rather than a few visitors that pay a lot of money, at once.
Well, Bob, I think it's a beautiful one that you are speaking on SMEs the regional and the international market, and having so many tourists and the volume of which they come in, and that's how we can make our profits. What role can the government play in making sure that young people are part of the industry in tourism, making sure that young people are aware of these beautiful places, the beautiful landscapes that we have, these iconic places we have within South Africa, and that we can always brag about and say that young people actually know the heritage and the beautiful monumental places within South Africa or Africa at large?
In fact, I mean, it's an important question, because if you read most of what we're reading about the future of tourism, the trends in tourism, you know, the future really lies with the what they call the millennials and Generation Z,
yes,
and other future younger groups. Now, there are very specific things about those segments. One is that they are technologically savvy, and so if you want to reach them, you have to find them on technology. They called digital natives for a reason. You know, they live in the digital space. So we have to reach them there, you know. So, and again, it's an important question, because this is the conversation we're raising with SMEs as well. And we say that, you know, if you don't up your game in terms of technology and digital enablement, you're going to miss that market.
Yes.
So that is number one. But number two, the millennials and you know, Generation Z and these kinds of people, you know, consume the tourism product very, very differently. You know, they want a customized tourism product. They don't want to go to the usual places. They want to go off the beaten track, because they pioneers. They want to explore new things. And if we think that we're going to reach this market with the same offerings that we've always, you know, used to reach the previous market, there's going to be a mismatch.
Yes.
So we are saying to SMEs, you need to understand these, future trends. You need to understand who the main future consumer is going to be, the millennials, you know, Generation Z. You need to understand how they consume tourism and travel, and you need to understand where to find them.
Yes.
Right? You're not going to find them by putting out a big ad on TV. Sorry for you guys, but you're going to find them on social media, and even that, you need to really package in such a way that, you know, you reach and attract them.
That's really amazing. Mr. Septi, so you're going to be assisting us with now featuring all these SMEs for the remainder of the month. Now, what can we really expect now as we cover the different SMEs in the different provinces?
Well, of course, you're going to, and by the way, thank you for offering our SMEs an opportunity on your channel. We're very grateful for that. And they are very excited about it. So we've put together for you what we believe is a mix in terms of gender, in terms of demographics and locations and that kind of stuff. So I think you're going to have exciting conversations. Of course, because they come from provinces, which I need to say you have selected, not us. So our SMEs in provinces that have not been selected cannot blame us. Gauteng has not been selected, Eastern Cape, but you obviously are going to see the diversity, not only in terms of the operators, but in terms of the products that they offer themselves, in the different processes. But I would ask you to really push them on really how they're positioning themselves for the future. They mustn't tell you the same old story, you know, we take people to Table Mountain, we take people to, these places. You must push them on how do they see the future and how are they preparing themselves for the future. But I think you're in for a treat, because these are people who live tourism daily, understand tourism, and I think they're going to be sharing some very exciting insights with you guys.
That's really amazing. I'm really so excited because I really think it's conversations that we don't really have about tourism, and the information unfortunately is not widely available. So thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm really excited for that. How many?
Yeah, same here. I'm excited knowing that there could possibly be a youth dialogue that me and you can host about SMEs within young people, what the depth understanding of what tourism is about, the multiple career opportunities within tourism. So thank you very much, Baba, for being with us and joining us, Babu.
Septi.
Thank you very much.
And can you just
thank you for having me.
And can you just tell all our listeners and viewers where they can get a hold of you?
Yes, thank you so much for the opportunity. So they can go to CZA, it's spelled SEEZA, one word, dot today. Today, not .co.za. So it's See South Africa Today. CZA.today. That's our website address.
Oh, wow. They're very beautiful. I love it already. Quite catchy, and it's straight to the point.
Yes.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much for joining us, Bob.
Take care.
Really, really amazing. I'm really, really excited. But let's just go for a quick ad break as we finish up with our entertainment and sports stories right here on the Midday Express.
Feel the heat. Feel the excitement. Feel the heat with StarSat.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning and a warm welcome once again on Galaxy Universal Network, Channel 500 on StarSat, and this is Pan-African Morning.
Hi, Sudi Melang. This is still Pan-African Morning News right here on Galaxy Universal Network. And of course, we are fearless, zero favor and zero fiction.
Warm welcome to Galaxy Universal Network, Channel 500 on StarSat.
Catch the Pan-African Morning Queens, Sasanda Kwabikuto and Balisa Muchiminyani every weekday at 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on Galaxy Universal Network, Channel 500 on StarSat. Catch us on all our social media platforms. It is Galaxy Universal Network on Facebook, at @gun_TV on Twitter and Instagram. Visit our website on www.galaxyun.tv. You sure don't want to miss out.
China saying that the latest outbreak is under control.
Feel the heat.
The cabinet has decided to ease restrictions on certain other economic activities.
I don't want to be a white person who sits by and does nothing, so that's why I'm here today.
Feel the excitement.
We are here to unite, because what we are fighting for is to stop institutional racism.
Feel the heat with StarSat.
Well, welcome back from the ad break, and you're still watching Midday Express right here on Galaxy Universal Network. And you just, if you haven't been watching, you missed a beautiful conversation that we had with Ntate Sisepti, that is part of the director of CZA.today. So see South Africa today. That was a beautiful one, a catchy one. And as we take a look at your leading stories within the sporting field, the Serbian star is only the third player in the Grand Slam history to be disqualified out of the men's single tournament, falling John McEnroe at the Australian Open in 1990, and Stefan Quebec at the French Open in 2000. In the late 2000, Novak Djokovic was sensationally disqualified from the US Open on Sunday after striking a female lines official in the throat with a ball. So looking at that one, that was a hard one, knowing that the world number one went 5-6 down in the first set of the Spain's Pablo Busta when he hit the ball in the digest in the direction of the official. Djokovic appeared to be looking away from the official at the time, but he hit the ball with considerable force, and when it struck her, it could be heard gasping for a cough. So that's a hard one, and so please do take a look at this.
Right towards the line person, and it hits her at
need to hit her in the throat. You sit there.
I want to pose the question and it's over.
I really hope I was that clued up about sports and what happens,
But I think it was a mistake. I mean, being human looking at it, it was a mistake because he was swinging he was hitting the ball outside of the tennis court where they play, and he legit at such a high speed that it hit her. And it was so bad because you're looking at it and it looks deliberate because at the force of which it went by. But once you're looking at how he was looking away and very unaware of the positioning of everyone around him, and it really hit the woman, and it's quite sad. It's sad knowing that she went down and she had to, gasp for air and cough in the manner of which she did. But it's sports, man. It's sports. But to be disqualified out of
yeah.
Hey.
Rough. Good tense. But moving on into our entertainment stories.
Yes.
Now Busisa and Shoma Josie are actually set to represent Mzansi at the prestigious International Afrobeats Festival Afro Nation in 2021 next year, alongside Chris Breezy and Ulrich Ross. I feel like South Africans are actually
showing up. And I think now more than ever, more now than ever,
I mean,
South Africans are saying that we've been here, we've been represented for the longest of time, and hear us. And I think Shoma Josie is representing one of the most unspoken cultures about, and I think so it's beautiful to see her rocking she's going to be rocking at such a beautiful light in 2021.
Imagine all the way in Portugal, representing Mzansi in Portugal. And we actually see Ubusisa as well also stepping up. I think we last saw her Mhlambe there, but now she's also even on
Beyonce's short film, where she said, I think the Goku, when she said Goku, she knew right now, every moment, every second is important. So she's showing us, and I think these two beautiful women, fierce, strong women, are showing us that you can lead in whatever field, in whatever career that you're in, that it is possible to be a global charter. It is possible to make a career, a sustainable career out of music, out of living out your dreams and your passion.
But I guess it comes with a push. At the end of the day, we know the entertainment industry is not easily accessible, and once you're in, you just have to push. And alongside now, we're also with celebrating just our African stars, we also have Davido and Burna Boy actually are also going to be on the lineup. So we're really, really excited, and we love to see what they have in store for us there.
Hey, it's beautiful. And I wish I could put on the accent and be like, I'm all the way from Africa. Burna Boy is going to be there.
It's going to be there serving us. Yes.
It's going to be a beautiful one. And actually looking at our South African entertainment news, Mafikizolo star Theo has defended calls for government to reopen the entertainment industry during the lockdown, saying people can die of starvation while the government tries to protect them from COVID-19. Theo joined dozens of artists across the country to protest against the regulation imposed on the entertainment industry. The hashtag Vula President movement shut down the N3 near Durban this week to call the reopening of the industry. Concerts and venues, they called for the events to be opened with at least 70% attendance. And this one goes to say several protesters that were attending the illegal demonstration and the protests are now being moved online. So at this point, we're looking at so many of our South African singers, stars coming out and saying that our bread and butter is through music. It's through performing, entertaining people, but through the restrictions that we have through COVID-19, we've really had sat down and we've thought about it. But the greatest question is do they have a leg to stand on? Knowing that COVID-19 is not something that is in the past, but we are still presently within it. One person can attend an event and has corona. What does it say about the people attending that event?
But then it also goes, I feel like it's kind of a little bit unfair to have some sectors opening up and others still closed, because now you have the tourism sector that's opening up. The restaurants were opened as well. And then within that setting, yes, the social distancing and stuff, but still now you are in it, you have to remove your mask with sanitizing. So I feel like any measures that are put in the other industries and sectors should be put in entertainment as well. I mean, we see alcohol has also been unbanned and stuff. So I just feel like precautionary measures just need to be put in place. But at the end of the day, economy has to go on, and people are still going to keep complaining. That's the thing. It's like you are favoring the other sector over the other. So at the end of the day,
but it's a hard one, man. Looking at music festivals, concerts,
Yes.
it's more than 2,000 plus people in one area. And it becomes that I'm so close to you, we are all singing along, chanting, we are dancing, and that's why I think the government too is trying to find means to find another route around this, another scheduling on how can we do this, how can we move forward. Could the National Arts Council give them more money as artists? But therefore it goes to say again that they're only going to prioritize our top artists and not our artists that are upcoming, that have been building a name for themselves, that haven't been booked as much as the big names that we know within our entertainment industry in South Africa.
It's really a tough one, Harmony. I really think they should just open up the country and just let people take it upon themselves now as individuals. I think we just need to be responsible citizens right now to actually make sure that we are saving ourselves from contracting this coronavirus. It's still there, it's still real, but at the end of the day, having some sectors open and some still remain closed,
Absolutely.
I think at the end of the day just is a bit unfair on other people. So yeah, at the end of the day,
we're going to wait for the president to give us that speech once again. We have to wait
just
for
to hear what's happening.
I think to understand what is what, where we're going, where we're heading, because that protest was a big one.
It was.
That hashtag Vula President was there. The dancers that are always on tour with him, and a lot of the entertainers were there. Our big singers were there. DJ Sindo was there. Mutumin Kokstad was there. So it's a big one to know that it's not just boom artists that have been affected. Our gospel singers have been affected. Knowing that Sun Arenas can't be filled up, knowing the domes can't be filled up, knowing that halls in the community can't be filled up because we're only just saying 50% capacity of the, no, not even 50%, 50 people per event. Allow me to correct that. Only 50 people, you know?
But I mean, I still say it's quite saddening with the only form of communication that the government actually hears is protest. When they send letters, they're not being heard. So having to actually close down your highways to be heard, it's quite sad. I really feel like there has to be a different way to communicate, and the government just needs to hear everyone's cries at the end of the day without having to take such extreme measures.
Absolutely. But I guess we've come to the end of our show. No, you should be as shocked as I am. I mean, I'm saying...
My gosh, is it an hour already?
It's an hour. It's an hour already. But hey, thank you very much for joining us right here on Midday Express. My name is MBHELE. Upele khulu nontando dlambulo ulanga lokulunga ombithomikazi osompisi ondabezitha ebukhosini nje kanjalo. And guess what? I was joined by the forever beautiful, gorgeous lady herself, and she is
RORISANG. I think you forget the whole, there's something you used to do, Mark, and you did the whole thing. You understand? Well, I guess. But you catch us again, same time, same place, right here on the Midday Express. And don't forget to comment on our comment section below on all our social media platforms. It is at Galaxy Universal Network, and also gun_TV on Instagram and Twitter. From ourselves and the rest of the team, we shall see you tomorrow.
Adios.